Did you know that many of the depictions of gladiators in movies are wildly inaccurate? Let's uncover some shocking truths. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, you're in for a treat as we explore the fascinating world of ancient gladiators and how Hollywood often misrepresents their lives and battles. From epic sword fights to dramatic deaths, the silver screen makes it look so thrilling, but the reality was often quite different. So, grab your popcorn and let's dive into the real history behind these iconic warriors. Presentation of problem/challenge. So, what are some of the biggest misconceptions about gladiators? First off, many people think that all gladiators were slaves forced to fight for their lives. While it's true that some were indeed slaves, many were actually volunteers seeking fame and fortune. Yeah, you heard that right. They could gain a lot of social status and even wealth if they fought well. Next up, let's talk about their combat styles. Movies often show gladiators fighting in these epic one-on-one duels, but the reality was much more chaotic. Gladiatorial games were massive events, often with multiple fighters battling at once. And don't even get me started on the weapons. Gladiators used a wide range of weapons and armor, and not all of them were suited for a fair fight. And then there's the training. Hollywood loves to depict gladiators as these buff, superhuman warriors. In reality, they underwent rigorous training, yes, but they weren't born into this life of brutality. They were trained in special schools called ludi, where they learned everything from fighting techniques to how to entertain the crowd. So, the myth that they were all just mindless killing machines. Totally busted. Exploration/development. Now, let's dive into some specific examples from popular films and see how they stack up against historical records. Take the movie Gladiator for instance. It's thrilling, right? But there are some glaring inaccuracies. The film portrays gladiators as fighting to the death in almost every match, which wasn't always the case. Many fights were more about spectacle than actual life and death struggles. Another example is Spartacus. While it does a great job of highlighting the revolt of gladiators, it tends to glamorize their lives a bit too much. The reality is that most gladiators live tough lives, often facing injuries and the constant threat of death. Plus, the way they are depicted as these heroic figures fighting for freedom. It's a bit of a stretch. Let's not forget about the cultural significance of gladiators in ancient Rome. They weren't just fighters, they were celebrities of their time. The crowds loved them, and successful gladiators could gain a huge following. This adds another layer to their narrative that movies often overlook. Gladiators were a reflection of the society they lived in, with their battles serving as entertainment for the masses and a way for the elite to showcase power. Climax/key moment. Alright, here comes the big reveal. The most surprising myth about gladiators that most people believe is that all gladiatorial games were solely about blood and gore. Sure, there were violent moments, but many of these events were actually quite structured and regulated. Gladiators fought under strict rules, and there were referees overseeing the matches. The truth is, the games were not just a test of strength but also of skill and strategy. Gladiators often fought with the intention of impressing the audience rather than just killing their opponent. The crowd's favor was crucial for their survival and success. So, the idea that every match was a brutal free-for-all is a huge oversimplification of gladiatorial combat. Conclusion/summary. So, to wrap things up, we've busted some major myths about gladiators. They weren't all slaves, they didn't always fight to the death, and they were way more than just brutal warriors. Understanding the true history behind these ancient fighters allows us to appreciate the complexity of their lives and the culture they were a part of. It's important to remember that while Hollywood loves to dramatize history for entertainment, the reality is often much richer and more fascinating. Gladiators were a product of their time, and their stories are essential to understanding ancient Rome. Call to action, CTA. If you enjoyed this deep dive into gladiator myths, make sure to check out my other videos on ancient history. And I want to hear from you. What myths about gladiators did you believe before watching? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more mind-blowing content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.